Hey everybody, today on Period 5, I'm catching up with Arush Parekh, an old friend of mine and the founder of Free Tutors, a youth-led platform that makes learning and teaching more accessible and meaningful for students. In his first year, Free Tutors faced challenges with an early launch, which pushed Arush to rethink and iterate his approach. In this episode, we'll dive into his journey, explore the lessons he's learned about leadership and resilience, and discuss how young people can create real solutions while navigating failure and change. Hey Arush, how are you doing today? What's on your mind?
I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. I think you gave a pretty good summary. My name's Arsh Parekh. I'm from California, San Jose, California, in the US. And me and my friend, we worked together to create Free Tutors. And basically, the story behind that is at our school, the way it used to work, if you had a question, you would either need to pay for tutoring, and people would go to tutoring classes late in the night for many hours and stuff, or you would just have to rapid fire text a lot of your friends oh, do you have this answer? Oh, can you help me with this? Can you help me with this? And we were like, there's probably some way that we could build a forum where a lot of people can just work together and do it. And so we decided to make it ourselves, and we created freetutors.net.
Were there any specific experiences that you could share about maybe some problems that you faced and wish maybe something like this needs to be created?
Yeah. Where it first hit me was in my math class. So I was taking calculus that year, and a lot of my friends, they would need to go to this tutoring place, and they would always tell me about how oh, I'm being so overworked, this is so tough. And in the meantime, we were all struggling with the same problems. I didn't go to that class. Instead, at home, I would just have to search up a lot of different online resources and just text all of those friends yo, can you help me with this topic? And then they would also text me, can you help me with this topic? And it just kept going, and it was kind of messy and unorganized. What also ended up happening was a lot of us had the same questions. I would ask friend number one something, and then friend number two would ask somebody else the same question. So we were just put it all in one place, make it easy for everyone to just get answers. So yeah, that was the inspiration.
So you've outlined the problem that you face, which is really powerful and something that indeed there needs to be a solution. So speaking of the solution, what exactly have you worked on? What is Free Tutors and what does it do for students?
Yeah. So Free Tutors is basically a forum meant for education. So you can imagine something like Reddit, where somebody would go ask a question and they would get responses from many different people, and it ends up creating a conversation for a ton of different subjects. So, and then on top of that, we also have some AI tools. So to make your response absolutely immediate, because there's always some urgency when you're studying for a test or something. When you ask a question, you get a quick AI response while you wait for a real human to respond. And what ends up happening is, so you can get the answer for your question really easily, and you end up putting your question publicly so that other people can add on to whatever that answer was. They can give their own strategies or tips on how to help. Or people who have similar questions or similar curiosities can learn from you as well.
What were some main hurdles that you faced early on when founding Free Tutors in your first year?
Yeah, so I think Free Tutors had two major hurdles the years that we launched. So we launched in, I think, 2023, in that school year for us. And what ended up happening is we were so eager to launch that we made this pretty quick website that only worked on computers. It didn't have many users, so people weren't able to communicate. Most importantly, it didn't work on mobile. So when we would put an advertisement or a poster up, people search it up on their phones, and then it just ends up looking super weird because it wasn't mobile friendly. So then after that year, we decided to pull back a bit, take a lot of time redeveloping it. And what we ended up doing is we added a lot more features. We added this AI integration because at that time, ChatGPT and all these AI tools were also getting really competitive. And we wanted to add those into our website in order to make it more useful for our users. So yeah, we spent pretty much a whole year doing more advertising. We connected with different libraries across the US. We were if student comes to you with tutoring help, and because a lot of you guys have tutoring programs, please take a look at our website. It's totally nonprofit, and it can help these students a lot. So yeah, we've got a lot of library connections like that. So I guess the main lesson that we learned was that don't be so eager to launch And when you do launch, you need to have a lot of work already put in. So we had to put in work in development, in marketing, in advertising, and then in getting users.
Yeah, so tell me more about that. You mentioned your advertising, right? And often scaling is the hardest part of launching any product. So apart from maybe libraries and your peers in your own school, what were some other techniques that you used to try to scale free tutors?
Yeah. So another popular one was social media. At our school, Instagram is like super huge. People are always on it. So we created our own Instagram page, and then we would get together to record these like skits for advertising. And they ended up going pretty well. Like we ended up getting 3,000, 4,000 views on some of them. So yeah, and that's been a pretty big factor in our success actually. So just to like go over all of our marketing again. So we have some library partnerships. We have posters that we put all around our school campus. We have our social media. And then our school also hosts these like PTSA events, something like a volunteering night where they just talk about different volunteer opportunities. So we ended up going there too, and we were like, you can volunteer to become a tutor on our website for some volunteer hours. Then there's like events like Danya, which is just like a fundraising event that they host at our school. And over there, we also put up some posters and got people talking. So all of that combined is like part of our marketing effort. And like I'd say each step is invaluable.
Yeah, totally. I can imagine like it's probably a real struggle, a real push to get all these different factors moving, to get users coming. So given all these struggles, was there ever a moment in the first year when you seriously questioned whether the idea would actually work? Like how did you push through all that doubt?
Oh, absolutely. I sometimes still question that. There's always like a lot of doubt because viewership ends up slowing down. Like we have our peak months, we have months where it's almost like totally silent, like especially during breaks. And yeah, I mean, sometimes it does like kind of hurt, it doesn't get to the level that you expected. But then you realize all the work that you've put in, and you're like, at the end of the day, like I've still learned a lot doing this. I still helped a few people, even though it's not as many people as I would have hoped. And like, that's enough, it keeps me going. And it's like, like it was worth it.
So were there any concrete changes that you made to free tutors other than the mobile adaptation? Like were there any specific lessons from the early struggles that guided those changes?
I think at that time, our biggest issue was like how the website looked. It was pretty like shabby. The color scheme was bad. Of course, the whole mobile issue. And then also people were like hesitant to use it because we hadn't done much of that marketing yet. So the concrete changes that we made wasn't really with the structure of the website itself. Of course, we added the AI features and all that stuff. But our main concrete changes was with how we showed and displayed our website. That was like making it more visually appealing, making it mobile friendly, getting more advertising behind it. And with all of those combined, we ended up having a great year the next year when we relaunched again, basically. And it was more structured and more organized when we launched.
So as you're making those improvements, building the right team must have been really crucial. So what qualities did you look for in team members and what contributions really made a difference?
Yeah, absolutely. So we've had an evolving team basically. When we first came out, a lot of people just signed up because they were like, oh, this is a quick extracurricular for me. And we ended up having to like go through all the different people to see if they were really worth keeping. And I think our biggest thing for us was like passion and motivation towards the project. What a lot of people would do is they would just join and then we say, can you finish this poster design for us by next week? And then they'd end up doing it like the day after the deadline or like just right before the deadline. And it was like pretty rushed work. Like you could tell they completely forgot about it and did it within the last 30 minutes. So like we've had with our team, we've had great issues with like passion and like actually feeling for the project. And I think that we were able to build that through these like group events. So as I mentioned earlier, we had like the events at our school, such as like the volunteering night, or when we would get together to record ads. And I think that was a good idea by me and like my other co-founder. Like we would start hosting these team like bonding events so that everyone is together in one place. And like, even though it sounds like kind of corny, but like when we all got together, they really felt for the project, you know? And like you could tell the people who were genuinely interested and who wanted free tutors to do well. And that's the people who like we decided to go with on the long term.
Yeah, no, I totally get that. I'm not sure if you noticed, but I go to an Ivy school, right? So there's this thing called CAS, and it's basically like service things that a student must do in order to get their diploma. And so a lot of students just end up doing a bunch of superficial stuff just to get that CAS checklist done. And I'm a leader of many of the groups that they go to CAS to. For example, I lead MU and school newspaper and stuff. And so when they come and join these clubs just to get their CAS hours in, it's just really annoying for me as like they don't have any enthusiasm to actually contribute.
Yeah, no, I totally get that.
With all that, so with all that trial and error and bouncing back with team members, what's one lesson especially that you just learned the hard way, something that you only understood after failing first?
Um, I think the one lesson that's important is patience. Like you will go through failed launches. You will go through like dead times where nobody gets your product, where nobody even knows about your product. But you need to have patience with yourself and your team. You need to know that you do have worth in whatever you've made or whatever you're trying to launch. And you need to give it the time and effort that it deserves in order for it to do well. You need to be patient with it. And if you keep trying, if you keep putting in your effort, it will eventually like give you the fruits of that labor. You will eventually get the intended result if you just keep sticking with it.
One question I had, and something that you kind of answered before, that how Free Tutors is implementing AI solutions and AI tools into its platform. So, because my question was essentially that as Free Tutors continues to grow and with AI tools like ChatGPT emerging, in which they can quickly answer and an extremely personalized response to any questions you have in terms of schoolwork. So how do you see the role of AI in tutoring?
AI has started to like eat up a lot of our user base, and it has slowed down over the past 2 years because of that. We also have our own AI bot. We have a tuned Gemini model that is like meant for education, and it still gives like really accurate responses. So of course that's still something that students can use. But I think what differs free tutors from that is the ability for it to be shared. Like when you have a question, you don't have to start from scratch and just ask and like learn from scratch. You can learn from what another student has already learned, whether that be through like asking our AI tutor or getting an answer from one of our verified tutors or some other students. You can already join into that process rather than having to start it by yourself. And I think that's what helps set free tutors apart in this world where like the answers are literally after one prompt.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Yeah. So before we wrap up the discussion, we're gonna do a quick, fun rapid fire round. Just short, spontaneous questions to get a sense of who Arush is, what drives him, and few lighter sides of building free tutors. So Arush, are you ready?
Yeah, sure. Let's go.
Okay. Very quick. So, one app or tool that you can't live without for free tutors.
Yeah, sure. I'll say Discord. Our entire team is managed on Discord, and it's pretty easy for us to, organize because we're all pretty active on there.
One skill you wish you learned earlier that would have helped you with free tutors.
One skill I learned earlier would probably be graphic design. I think I'm more of a technical side person, so like I like getting the function and all that, but I would really used to gloss over like how the user experience is. Like it shouldn't have so many different steps. It shouldn't be tough for the user to understand what they need to do. And honestly, I think that's a lesson that we as free tutors, we learned pretty late. Had we learned it earlier, we would have had like another year of launch basically, and that would have made our like success much better.
If free tutors had a mascot, what would it be?
So free tutors does have a mascot actually, and it's our robo tutor, our AI tutor. We kind of gave him a persona and all that, so that's kind of our mascot now.
Shout out RoboTutor.
Yeah.
One word to describe your first year of free tutors.
Man, I can't sum this down to one word. I'd say learning. I know it's like all that's coming to mind right now, and it's probably not the best descriptor, but like that year was kind of a big learning moment for us with our entire failed launch and everything. And yeah, I think it was still valuable because we learned a lot through that.
Mhm. If you had a superpower to instantly improve education, what would it be?
Uh, it would be making education free and accessible for everyone, like top tier education too. Right now, a lot of like your most advanced classes, if you want to like dive into a project on your own, all of that is behind like stuff you have to pay for or like time that you have to give going to these classes, going to all of that. And so, yeah, my superpower would be trying to make it free and accessible for everyone.
And lastly, if you could describe yourself in just 3 words, what would they be and why?
That's 3 words. I'd say ambitious, curious, and rooted. So ambitious because like I still have like long life ahead of me, and I really want to like get into these innovations. I want to like explore the forefronts of like AI technology, research and simulation technology. And then curious because I feel like it's always better to keep asking questions, and I'm always really interested by whatever I don't know. Like if I ever have a question about something, I'm not like hesitant to search it up, try to get an understanding, or even ask it on free tutors. And then rooted, it's because like I still value and like I know the community that I'm from, and like I know how it's been totally invaluable for me to become who I am today. So like I always want to stay working on projects that give back to communities, that always work on helping other people. So like with free tutors and some of the other projects that I've worked on, they've been driven towards solving problems that are faced by other people, like by real society. And I think that's also another motivation that I keep strongly tied with my ambition and curiosity.
So, Arush, thank you so much for sharing your story today. Free tutors shows how persistence, learning from others, and building a strong team can turn an idea into a meaningful project. So, for anyone listening, the takeaway is simple: start, iterate, and don't be afraid for early setbacks. Real impact comes from resilience and thoughtful action, and as Arush mentioned, patience. So, I hope you enjoyed this episode. You can check out Free Tutors and all the amazing work Arush is doing in the link in the description below, and I'll see you next time on Period 5. Bye!